Well, joining us now is Director of the Britain Stronger in Europe campaign, Will Straw. Welcome to you. It looks like you've got a fight on your hands, haven't you, in a sense, because the polls are varied, but they are effectively around 50-50, so it's kind of all to play for and all to lose, isn't it?
No, that's right. I mean, this is the biggest decision that this country will take in a generation. So it's absolutely right that people are making a hard decision about this. We're confident that the case we're making, that Britain is stronger in Europe, particularly for our economy, but also for our security and leadership in the world, will win the day whenever the referendum takes place.
How much of an issue do you think immigration is in this debate?
Well, it's obviously a big concern to people right across the country, and there's been a summer of news about immigration. All I'd say is two things. First of all, if we left the European Union, it wouldn't stop the migration crisis of people wanting to come into this country illegally, but it would mean, with the lack of cooperation, that our border would effectively move from Calais, where we do the checks at the moment, to Dover. So I think that's something we want to avoid.
People argue, though, that because of the movement of people that has been been able to happen because of being part of the European Union, we have already got a lot of people living here that has put pressure on jobs here. So they might feel, actually, that having that gone would take the burden off and they could have more people in who were refugees, for example.
No, that's absolutely right. People do say that. The problem is that if we want to have the free trade access to the European Union, to the single market, with all the benefits that we get from that, which people at the Confederation of British Industry says benefits families by about £3,000 per year. If we want all that, free movement's part of the package. You can't have one without the other.
Why not? Just explain to people why not.
So the rules of the free trade area, if you want the free trade access, is you have to accept the rules and regulations. So countries like Norway and Switzerland, which are actually outside the European Union, still accept the rules, still accept free movement, and still make a payment to the European Union. If we want to get away from all that, then we'll face tariffs on our goods and services. So the price of a shop at the supermarket, the price of a car would increase. And I think that's a trade-off people need to think very carefully about before they decide to vote no.
Now, one of the issues you have is, of course, David Cameron said he's going to go to Europe and secure all sorts of changes and concessions. But aren't you in a position where you want Britain to stay in Europe whether those things happen or not? And unfortunately, the campaign's slightly sort of caught up in whether those changes are successful.
Well, in the Britain Stronger in Europe campaign, we think that the benefits of the membership of the European Union do outweigh the costs. But we're very supportive of what the Prime Minister's doing. I mean, the EU is not perfect. Of course, how could it be? We hope David Cameron does get some reforms. But the European Union does adapt to its members. So in the past, Margaret Thatcher, Harold Wilson, Tony Blair all got reforms, and I'm sure Prime Ministers in the future will as well. The important thing is that this is an organisation that can move forwards.
All right. Will Straw, thanks very much indeed.